My goodness, where did the time go? First things first, happy hump day, everyone. So, if you're new to this, and you therefore have no idea what I'm about to do, a bit of a backstory. It was on day 399, emotionally, I really was at the tail end of my rope. I had actually got into a huge fight with my brother that, frankly, because of it, we didn't speak for the entirety of his wife's first pregnancy. I wouldn't know that at the time. However, because of that argument, it ultimately inspired this sort of, I wouldn't really call this a series of videos, because, again, 100 days is kind of too far apart to really call it a series. But it's something I do every 100 days called the State of My Being Address, where, again, once every 100 days, I will take the time to really further elaborate how, I'm feeling, or, what I'm currently doing, or what I've done over the last 100 days. It's basically sort of like, I guess, a mental check-in, simply because, every 100 days, it's pretty special. It is. It's a long time. And today being day 2600, I can for sure say that I've come a long way from where I was, on January 1st, 2018. I mean, that video wasn't even 2 minutes long. And especially in the last several years, I've done videos that are, dozens of times longer. So take that for what you will. Before I get into that, though, as per usual, I have a low and high act of kindness. I would say that my low was, it's so weird. Like, I wouldn't even say yesterday was as cold as it was previously. However, especially this morning, it's not even that cold in my apartment right now. It's like my heat is turned on at max, but for whatever reason, I had that sort of feeling of cold where, once you take a hot shower, you don't want to get out. You really get, I can stay in the shower all day. And, that was me. I mean, obviously, I couldn't get in the shower all day because I had to do this. My high is, I can say it. I made the 2600 days. That's pretty cool. I always knew that I'd be doing this every day for a long time. But when you see a significant number like this, that's not small by any means. I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't sound like a lot. But, when you consider that 2600 days is well over, all of 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's over 7 years. I've been doing this for over 7 years. And looking back on it, especially over the last 18 going on 19 months, I've come incredibly far. And it'd be easy for me to look upon that and smile for today's video, but I know it isn't all perfect. I'll get into that momentarily. My act of kindness was, well, yesterday's Tuesday, I took out the garbage for my family. So, where do I start? Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk, because here's the thing. I can't really talk about how I'm feeling at the moment without going over what happened in the last 100 days. And up till about a week or so ago, I would have told you that it was nigh perfect. Again, nothing is ever perfect. I guess I could start with what kind of ruined that streak in a way. And it was, well, two things. Well, I guess it'd be more if you include any family drama, but I don't want to include that because, I mean, listen, my family's family. I'm not gonna bother lamenting on that. The first would be what happened on January 31st in regards to the fact I got in a car accident. Again, like, I'm doing fine. I should be picking up my car today, in fact. So, it's not like it was serious or, I mean, obviously I'm still here, I'm fine. But I learned a very valuable lesson that day. And that is, even when I go out and do the things I really want to do, in this particular case, going all the way to Laurentide Beer Company to see Claudia Heuser play. And I am successful at going about doing what I want to do. Bad things can still happen. And funny enough, I also learned that it's going to be a long time before I take the back roads from Penn Yan all the way to Big Flats ever again. However, it's funny, I was actually more worried about hitting a deer than, what wound up happening. So, in that case, I didn't hit a deer. That's one good thing. Outside of the fact I'm still here. And if anything, it further proved the point that I learned my biggest lesson from 2024. Speaking of 2024, before today's video, I tried looking back on when the last State of My Being address was. Because, yeah, I know it was 100 days ago, but what was the date 100 days ago? And if I recall, it was November 4th. A lot of really big things happened in that amount of time. I mean, you had very important holidays like Veterans Day and Thanksgiving in November. I got to march in a holiday parade. That was really cool. And then you had December, Sparkle, Holiday in the Square in Horseheads, Christmas, my birthday, New Year's. And while January was pretty slow, and even though I personally didn't feel the process, I could sort of feel why other people were. I mean, again, the only bad thing that happened in January was that car accident I got into at the very end of the month. I'd say I made out pretty well. Still the best 18 months of my life right there. By the way, if you're wondering why I say best 18 months of my life, that period of time began on July 30th, 2023. So it's been over 18 months. Hopefully it'll be 19 by the end of February. I mean, so far it's looking that way. I mean, in terms of what I did in January, I went to not one, but two Bills backers bars to see the Bills play. Scat and Sketty happened for the first time this year. What else? Hold on. Let me look it up. I know I wrote it down. What happened on? Right. I went to a wrestling tournament. Yeah. So, I know something happened the week after, like, literally 6 days after I saw the first Bills game at a Bills backer bar, which was Laurentide, by the way. So, yeah, January was all but was not perfect. Again, the car accident. And February, in the beginning, was looking pretty great too. I mean, I went to the Last Stand in Horseheads, and I got to eat ice cream for breakfast on National Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. Actually, back to January 31st real quick. Not only did I get to see Clyde and Hoyser play at Laurentide, but I also got to see Blue Eyed Soul. Not only did I see Blue Eyed Soul on January 31st, I saw them the next day at both Patrick's on the 31st and then at Illegal Tap House on February 1st. I got to see Blue Eyed Soul twice this year so far. Blue Eyed Soul, if you don't know, is a local band. They're really good. Love watching them. They're awesome. What else happened? Gotta reach over there real fast. Oh, yeah, right. And speaking of really great days, just this past Saturday, I went to Patrick's for a little bit to celebrate their 8-year anniversary for being open. So congratulations to Patrick on that. 8 years being open. No small feat in any regard. Come to think of it, like, if my math is correct, they've been open for as long as I've been doing videos. I wonder if there's a correlation there. But again, Patrick's been open for 8 years. Congratulations, that's awesome. The couple of times I went to Giuseppe's this year and I got my new favorite item to have, which is the Pasta Pescatore. That's really cool. Disco night was at illegal too, but I didn't stay long because there was a huge snowstorm. But that's okay because I saw not one, not two, not three, but 4 cars doing donuts outside in the parking lot across the street from this building. And that's awesome. That is so cool. So, again, we tend not to really think about, January and early February being eventful because, again, it's right after the holiday season. And I'd also be remiss if I didn't talk about what happened. Technically, this happened on Monday, but I didn't find out until Tuesday of last week, which was the passing of Tally Sutton. I mean, again, just like the car accident, sometimes bad things happen that really are beyond your control. And sadly, this is one of them. It really has been beautiful to see so many people come together to celebrate Tally. And in fact, her celebration of life is going to be this upcoming Saturday at the Radisson Hotel in Corning. And I'm definitely going. Not to mention, my cousin had passed away too. We actually had her prayer service this past Friday in the mausoleum in the cemetery in Corning. So, I guess between the car accident I got into, Tally Sutton passing away, and my cousin passing away, it really does happen in threes. So, yeah. Bad things happen that are beyond your control, but when I think about it, some good really does come from those types of events. I mean, take the car accident, for example. I may have gotten in a car accident, but I'm still here. I still get to do this, and I'm still standing. That's a pretty big win, if you ask me. It was nothing short of a tragedy when both Tally Sutton and my cousin, her name was Jackie, by the way, had passed away. But in regards to the former, so many people in the community have been rallying together, making sure everyone else is okay. And that's beautiful. How can anyone be depressed by that? And in regards to my cousin, the latter, the prayer service is beautiful. Not to mention, I got to see people I never thought I'd see, and there are people I haven't seen in years. Like, full stop, I have one cousin who is actually, her son, my cousin who passed away, her son, who's actually like my age. I haven't seen him in years. And in that time, he had a sort of a private small wedding because he got married. And he has a kid now. I got to meet the kid. Obviously I wish it was under better circumstances, but, I got to see that. So, yeah. It's easy for me to say, January was ruined because of the car accident I got into. Or, this whole year was ruined because, one person sadly passed away. It's easier for me to say those things and lament on that. Frankly, I do enough lamenting over other stuff in my life anyway, so I'm not going to let that happen here. So it really does ask the question, how am I feeling overall right now? And honestly, right now I feel pretty good, given all the good and all the bad that's happened. Because this really is a classic case of the good very much outweighing the bad. In fact, it's so much so that when this year began, for those of you who don't already know, I wrote a bucket list for 2025. I know it's only been, by my count, 43 days, but it's been a pretty solid 43 days. And then you have, combine that with the fact that we had, Veterans Day and Thanksgiving in November, Christmas, New Year's, and my birthday in December. There's a lot to be happy about. And I am. I can say I'm happy about those things. I can say that, listen, 2024, if you want to say 2024 was a bad year, I will not stop you. Because there are genuinely bad things that happened in 2024 as well. But I really could make a case, at least from my perspective, that 2024 was not only a good year, but a great one. And almost by impulse, I almost Actually, no. I wrote down every great thing that happened that year, and I could say 2024 was great. But the biggest takeaway from 2024 I got, and one thing I've definitely been trying to use this year, is a lesson in patience. And I genuinely think I'm a pretty patient guy. But patience can be tested in other ways. In my case, it's, how do I put this? 2023 was such a good year for me, specifically the latter half of that year, that I really did spend more time and energy than was necessary to try and replicate those feelings in 2024. In some cases, I succeeded. I really did. However, when I think about it, those times I was successful, I didn't try and force it. Like, I wasn't so overly, I hate using this word because I swear I really wasn't, but I can't think of another word. I was so overly obsessed with trying to replicate how great 2023 was that I ran the risk of making 2024 not as good as it really could have been. And maybe in some cases that might have been true, but I can't say I'm mad at it. In fact, again, in several cases, I legitimately succeeded. Wounding up even surpassing my own expectations. So the lesson I took away from it is don't try and force it. Like, let those great moments come to you. And so far in 2025, I've done that. I took the chance and went to both Laurentide Beer Company and Latitude 42 Tap House to watch Buffalo Bills games at Bills Backers Bars. I went to that one wrestling tournament and I had fun. I got back into wrestling again, which is something I haven't done in years. I almost won in scat. I, got to see several of my favorite bands and music performances like Claudia Hoiser and Blue Eyed Soul. I went to disco night just the other night. I went to Patrick's for their 8-year anniversary. So many things have been going so great that I got to see and experience. How could I be anything but happy and excited after what's happened? Just in 2025 alone. You include the fact that 2024 ended with probably the best birthday I've ever had. The fact I got to march in a holiday parade after Thanksgiving. Again, how could I be anything but happy and excited? In fact, I'm so happy and excited at this moment in time that I'm ready to take on my first major obstacle of this year. Yes, there's actually something coming up in not even a couple days from now that I really have been preparing for. I'll get into more on this on the day in question. I will say this. After these last 100 days, I'm ready. I'm ready to take it on. And come by the end of this weekend, actually, come Saturday morning, you're going to see all my hard work put to the test. Actually, it will have been put to the test. my point is I'm ready. And I'll explain more in a few days. But right now, I'm happy. By the way, that wasn't a hesitation. I really didn't mean. I said I'm happy so many times in this video. I really don't know what else to say. But yeah, let's do this. You know, let's get to these next 100 days. You know, we got. Well, I guess my might as well say was the obstacle I have before me is Valentine's Day. But again, at this moment, I'm excited for it. I'll explain why on Friday. You know, we got Lent coming up, Ash Wednesday. So, you know, Lent's going to be 100 days, or 40 days, or actually 45. So, I have Lent, you know, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Mother's Day will happen in the next 100 days. So, I've got a few holiday milestones to prepare for. Then anything else in between. So, yeah. I'm ready to go. I hope y'all like this. Oh, you know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the Super Bowl too. Here's how great 2025 has been. As a Cowboys fan, I really should be completely upset that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I'm not. And, I mean, I will admit, if the Chiefs won, it would have added February 9th to my list of the best days of 2025. But you know what? That's okay. The Super Bowl is always a great day. That's a given. So, yeah. Overall, I'm happy. And I've got no complaints right now. I hope y'all like this video. If you like this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very humble in this video for all of you guys watching Joe Video. We have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And, wait, did I say happy hump day? Wow, I was so enthralled while I was talking, I forgot to say, I think I said happy hump day. Oh. Yeah, well, you know what? It's hump day. It's hump day, guys. Weekend's almost here. Not to mention, I almost forgot Cabin Fever's coming up. Going to Cabin Fever. And I'm going to be seeing Hypno and Humor the next day. You know, Whiskey Taste. Actually, Hypno Humor's this Saturday. But Cabin Fever's next Friday. There's a whiskey tasting I want to go to. Like, I'm excited. Let's go. There might be a St. Patrick's Day crawl going on if I can swing it. Let's do this. Hope y'all like this video. Like this video, channel on social media. As always, I'm very humble in this video for all of you guys watching Joe Video. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Oh yeah, I also forgot my brother's birthday's on April 13th, so yeah, that's good. My brother's birthday's happening. And remember, you guys want to talk to everyone who's reading, letting me know back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.